listening to the Patriot Nation podcast.
All right, welcome into another edition of the Patriot Nation podcast. As always, your guy, Pat Lane, here with my man, Matt St. Jean. And Matt, the Patriots are going to Chicago this week. And, you know, it's not, well, after losing to Tennessee, I mean, who the hell knows? But, you know, maybe it's not as unwinnable of a game as we thought it might be a few weeks ago.
No, I mean, this is a Chicago team that is not very good. I do think one of the things I kind of noticed is that the spread for this is 6 points. Feels like the spread for almost every Patriots game has been 6 or 7 points, which means that it kind of doesn't matter who we play. The bettors think it's probably about a touchdown spread. Like, I think that's what the Bengals for week one. That's what the Bears are here. I don't think those teams are really that close to the same footing.
No.
Maybe they are.
Well, Tennessee was minus 3.5. Took the Patriots plus 3.5, covered that one, baby.
Yeah.
But which was nice. But yes, you're right. Yeah. In a normal game, it's about 6 or 7 points to pretty much everyone.
Which is like, all right, that like every game is winnable, but the Pats got to play a good game. The other team has to play a bad one, and the Bears have played plenty of bad games this year, so they're gonna have a chance.
Yep, that's for sure. That's for sure. It's really interesting, and so we're going to get into there's kind of a litany of things to talk about on the Patriot side of the football and also on the Bears side of the ball as well. Just interesting kind of takes on both sides when you look at kind of what's going on and what the general demeanor is of the team, and I think the franchise as well. But you know, I think. I don't want to start there, so forget it. I was going to talk about the uniforms, but you'll go off on a 10-minute tangent about the Patriots uniforms, so let's not do that. Let's first start with Mike Onwenu. I don't understand what the hell the Patriots are doing. So for those of you that don't know, Mike Onwenu was working at left guard today on Thursday. No idea. Just I have no clue why they're doing it. Doug Kyde. Here's Doug Kyde's breakdown of what the Patriots have done with Mike Onwenu this year. At OTAs, he was working at right tackle. By the end of minicamp, he was at right guard. By the end of training camp, he was back at right tackle. By week 5, he was at right guard. For week 7, he was at right tackle. For week 8, he was at right guard. For week 9, he was back at right tackle. And midway through week 9, Layden Robinson got benched, and so he moved back to right guard. And now, leading up to week 10, he's working in at left guard. What the hell are we doing? Like, what are we doing? He's your best offensive lineman. Put him at right guard. Leave him there and figure out everything else. This is stupid.
Yeah, I see the logic on paper. The logic on paper is that Michael Jordan has really regressed the last 2 weeks as a pass blocker at left guard. And he's kind of become one of your weakest links on the line very quickly here because he can't run block at all. And the idea of swapping him out for Mike Onwenu probably instantly makes left guard better.
Right.
The problem is, and the other part of this, I think they want Layden Robinson to play.
Right.
They want to let him develop and let him play at right guard. Because, like, all right, if the guys are good at what they do, Onwenu at left guard, Cole Strange at center, Layden Robinson at right guard, it can make sense in theory. The problem isn't the theory. The problem is in practice. Here, Mike Onwenu is a guy who I don't think likes being moved around, who's gotten moved around a lot. Now you're asking him to mirror everything he's doing at guard over to the left side. If he's okay with it, and if it works, sure. But it's a gamble because there's a situation here where you move him to left guard, and it just doesn't work for him. They've played him there 2021, I think. 2020.
Yeah.
At some point, he ended up playing something. He was awful. He was much better on the right side. If he plays like that, and Layden Robinson still is what Layden Robinson has been at right guard, Now all three spots in the middle of your line are weak links, and you may have managed to piss off the best player on your offensive line.
Who you just signed to a huge extension.
Yeah. It's clear that this coaching staff, this offensive line coach, has a lot of faith in being able to switch players from one side to the other. They said that with Caden Wallace. They said that with Chuks Okorafor. We've seen it with them asking guards to switch. We've seen it with other tackles. Like, this is something that they believe in. Hasn't worked.
Hasn't worked.
Michael Maye is the best talent that they have tried it with. So maybe I will give them a tiny bit of benefit of the doubt going into this game. But man, is this risky. And if it doesn't work, like, this is how you get fired after 1 year.
100%. And that's really what it comes down to, is that at a certain point, you just got to pick something, right? You can't just start throwing stuff against the wall and see what sticks. And really what's frustrating is that you just feel like it's almost not out of necessity anymore. Like, okay, maybe Michael Jordan has regressed, right? And maybe they're seeing it in practice and they're like, yeesh, we don't love what we've seen from Michael Jordan. Fine. And I get that, and I'm okay with that. I understand. But at the same time, it's like, well, at a certain point, you just got to let the guys play. And if left guard is a problem for you, well, then you should have traded for someone at the trade deadline, or you should sign some free agent off the street, or you should put someone there. But if Mike Onwenu is going to play okay at right guard, he's been good at right guard, right? And your right tackle is going to be fine. I don't know if your right tackle is great, but it doesn't matter. They don't have to be great. And that's the part of it that, like, I don't understand what they're doing. You went from having a consistent line in week 8 and looking pretty good to then going to week 9 and looking like crap. And I don't know, is that because they moved Onwenu back to right guard, back to right tackle, and put Layden Robinson in at right guard? And by the time they made the switch back to, what are you doing? Just leave the lineup at the way it is and stop messing with it.
Yeah.
Right? And let them kind of gel a little bit and see if they can improve as they go along. Like, it makes absolutely no sense what they're doing. And just give the guys some continuity. And they're not doing that. And it's really frustrating. And you're totally right. Like, they look like they're incompetent right now by continuing to do this.
Like, it's, again, like, there was a point where the reason why the line wasn't cohesive was because of injuries. Now we're kind of at the point where they are the ones that keep meddling.
Yes.
Which, again, if it works, great.
Right.
But this kind of feels like if this one doesn't work, because it's probably, I think, hopefully going to be a multi-week thing. You hope it's good enough this week that you can stick with it and try to make it work. Because that's the thing. Like, if Onwenu is suddenly good at left guard now and this isn't an issue, okay, now you can get him on the field and Strange and Layden Robinson.
Right.
And in theory, that's your interior and it's set. So, like, I get, like, I think the theory of it makes sense. You're just, risking a lot to do it. And I mean, Cole Strange isn't back yet. None of the injured players are back.
And, and not just that, but, like, haven't you seen enough of Layden Robinson at right guard that you know he's not the guy?
Yeah, I'm surprised how much they want to get him on the field. Maybe he has looked better in practice, and he just had a couple of bad reps against Jeffrey Simmons last week, and they want to get him out there to work more.
That's something to be part of.
Man, Michael Jordan has been rough. I don't know if Layden Robinson has been any better. I think he has been worse still. So, and I get wanting to, like, here's the thing. I get wanting to play the young guys because you want to develop them. They have to play to develop. But there's also kind of a bar that you have to clear where if you can't clear it, putting you out on the field isn't going to help you at all. And from what we've seen of Layden Robinson, I think he's been under that bar. And
I think so. I certainly think so.
I do. Look, part of me that's like maybe because Maye is more mobile, they feel like they can be flexible with the offensive line and try to move these things around and make it work because they're less worried about the pass protection side. Like, he's made their pass protection look better.
Well, and the only other thing that I can think of is that they look at it and just say, we can't run the ball at all. And the reason we can't run the ball is because the run blocking. And so Onwenu would make the left guard better. Onwenu is theoretically, right? Onwenu and Layden Robinson are your two best run blocking guards, right? And so moving Onwenu to left guard allows you to play both of those guys at the guard positions.
Mhm.
I can see the theory, but again, it's like, why are we doing that? And that's part of the problem. Now, here's the other issue, right? And I know that, we talk about, hey, this is a fireable thing and you could get fired for this and all this other stuff. But like at the same time, and people screaming in the comments about that AVP is way over his head and Wolf and Mayo and so on and so forth. Drake Maye is doing he's putting up numbers that we've never seen anyone in the league do before. Ever. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you stop and look at it, there's two possibilities. Drake Maye is the greatest quarterback of all time, and he's doing it on his own in spite of his coaching. Or with very limited weapons. Okay. Yes, oh man, mom, you're not the only one. So that's why I said in the comments. But you're right. You're one of them. But with very limited weapons, he's still looking pretty good. And so I think part of that you have to give to the coaching staff. Now, again, does that mean the coaching staff can't be better? Of course the coaching staff can be better. But I think at times the coaching staff has put him in pretty good positions to be successful. I think that's kind of hard to argue against when you see the numbers.
Yeah. I'm anxious about the line that we're going to end up seeing this Sunday.
Yes.
I'm hoping it works.
You're breaking up on us. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Do you have me still?
Kind of. You're in and out.
Oh my God. Now.
I don't know what's going on. We need the SpongeBob technical difficulties meme on the screen right now. Yikes. Okay. So, anyways,
you keep going.
Yeah. So the offensive line, and look, again, I haven't been happy with what I've gotten from the coaches, and I think it's reasonable to argue that the coaches have been rough, and I don't blame anyone for that at all, right? I also think, for me at least, that it's hard to argue that they have put him in position to be successful at times because the numbers he's putting up are historic, right? And so, yes, he's had to do it all on his own, right? They haven't been able to run the ball, and that's part of that, of course, is scheme, and part of that is just the players not being able to execute. But you almost wonder too, like, should we have a fullback in there trying to, open some holes or whatever? I don't know what the right answer is, but what they're doing right now, running the ball, isn't working. What they're doing passing the ball is working pretty well. And so, and again, maybe Drake Maye is that good. Maybe Drake Maye is that good that he's overcoming the issues that he has with the coaching staff, right? And if that's the case, holy crap, like we're talking about a top 3 quarterback in the NFL already. But I don't see that that's the case yet. Maybe he'll prove me wrong, but I don't see that that's the case yet. But again, if you keep moving the offensive line around like this, and you keep, going back and forth like this and stuff like that, it's definitely a problem. It's definitely a problem. And again, I don't know if it's a fireable offense necessarily, but it certainly could be by the end of the year.
Hopefully I'm back and you're able to see and hear me this time.
I can. Yes, I can hear you. A little crackly, but you're there.
Okay. I don't know what is. I'm having all kinds of technical difficulties.
Sure
here. It's been the headphones. It's been the mic. It's been the power cord. It's been apparently now the Wi-Fi all in the last week. So don't know what's going on there. This laptop's been completely fine before this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think we just gotta hope that it works. Like, because the devil's advocate part of this is that no combination that they have thrown out there so far has been so good that you say, "Oh, let's
Very
stick
true.
with that." If on when
Yeah.
it was on, like that's to me the big thing is if on when it was on board with this. He's on
Right.
board with it. If he thinks he can play left guard, if he's bought into the idea of him playing left guard, and he can play it at a high level, like as well as he can play right guard, then I don't necessarily have an issue with this. I'm just skeptical about that from what we've seen in the past.
True. That's a great point. By the way, Old Man Mom says that we got to do GoFundMe for you to get you some new material.
I appreciate it.
But anyways, I think that, and I don't want to take anything away from Drake Maye. I'm not trying to take anything away from Drake Maye. I'm really not, because Drake May's been incredible, and I am so happy that he is our quarterback, right? But he's 4 starts in, right? So like, it's a long way to go before we start, calling him a Hall of Famer or anything else like that. And so that's the questioning for me, where I look at it and say, like, yeah, I don't know. Like, is it, are the coaches actually putting him in a better position than we realize? So anyways, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. By the way, the Baltimore Ravens just challenged a 2-yard catch on first down near the goal line with 10 minutes left to go in the first quarter.
That's really fun.
By the way, it was unsuccessful. I think Harbaugh was like, I don't need all these challenges. What am I doing? What am I, and it was pretty, anyways.
Yeah. Have some fun with it,
As bad as Mayo has been. Come on now. So we'll see. I think too, like, we need to cut the coaching staff a little bit of slack, which that I understand and I agree with. But at the same time, at a certain point, you just have to. We can't wait. You got to figure it out. And if you can't figure it out, then you're not the guy, and we have to move on from you. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the spots you should look is like what the Cardinals did last year. What they only won like 4 games. 4 games, I think.
5. I think 5. No,
Yeah.
4. 4. You're right. They had the same record as the Patriots.
Yeah. A lot of that came at the end of the year. A lot of that came because there was clear improvement throughout the year.
Yep.
Even though they didn't win a lot, it was clear that, all right, there's something here. They're trending in the right direction. So all year, that's what you want to see from New England. And, we're past halfway through the year. So we're at the point where if they're making moves like this, you expect improvement out of it. The line should look better this Sunday than it did last Sunday. If it doesn't, then I seriously question why you're making the move, because you've been working with these guys all year.
That's correct. That is absolutely correct. Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be good. But you gotta. They are throwing everything out now, clearly.
Yeah, and I understand you throwing everything at the wall. I get that, right? But like, you got to have the guys play better, right? And honestly, then it gets down to, well, they're not playing better. Well, so what? Like, at a certain point, you just have to let the guys play, because you just can't do anything else about it, right? And that's what it comes down to, is that, like, okay, we can move on Wendell to left guard, and we can put Layden Robinson back at right guard. But like, taking out Michael Jordan and putting in Layden Robinson and, putting Mike on Wendell to left guard, does that make the Patriots better? Like, I don't know. Sure, maybe you're not happy with the way Michael Jordan's been playing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the right option is to bench him and shuffle the entire offensive line. And so, like, that's some of the stuff where you question the decision making of the coaching staff. And so it's frustrating.
And the other part of this is going to be the evaluative part. Layden Robinson was the guy they drafted this year. So far, he has not been able to be really a significant contributor in any way to anything positive that they've done. He's also, the other part of this is, what you would say is leave on Onwenu at right guard and put Layden Robinson at left guard. It's pretty clear they don't think Robinson can move. They think Onwenu is easier to move here.
Right.
Which means you're telling me you drafted a guy who can only play right guard. You drafted him. And you just signed a guy. There's a chance here that the best player in the offensive line was a guy who is your right guard or right tackle like Owenu, and they drafted guys who might only be a right guard and a right tackle in the draft this year.
Yeah. Right.
Makes me question the way you're evaluating everything.
Totally true. That I agree with. Also, one quick thing. Old man mom mentioned that just about Vrabel coming in to help out. I kind of mentioned this before as well, that I thought, Vrabel coming in, might not be the best idea, or might have been a good idea just to give Mayo someone. The problem is, if we were at this point right now, let's just say we're in the same exact spot, 2-7, ups and downs on the coaching staff, young coach learning the ropes. What would the entire conversation be? The whole conversation would be, Mike Vrabel's in the building. He's in the building already. Just fire Mayo and have Vrabel be the guy to take over. That would be the conversation on every single sports show in Boston, 20 hours a week. And it's just like, one of those, you just can't do it, right? And Vrabel does have a consulting job with Cleveland that he got, kind of halfway through the year. But again, Stefanski's a guy that I thought was, and maybe he'll end up getting fired for. I can't imagine they'll end up firing him for playing Deshaun Watson because he didn't have a choice in that matter. Maybe he'll end up getting fired this year. I don't know. But it's one of those issues for me that I look at it because I did think that initially, but someone had mentioned it. The guy I go to the game with Jack mentioned it, that like if Vrabel were the guy, if Vrabel were here, people would be like, what the hell are we doing? Like, why is Vrabel not the head coach and Mayo is? Like, what are we talking about? And so I think that was one of those things that it was done intentionally to have young guys that can grow together. I do think they should have brought someone in that had some experience. Who that would have been, I don't know. But because you can't just be all young guys doing stuff, unless all of those young guys are guys like Sean McVay that are pushing the envelope, that are doing crazy things, that are design, Ben Johnson and these other guys that are like designing crazy plays and having fun and doing all this crazy stuff. You're talking about young guys with that I can do. But if you're talking about young guys that are like by the book and this is how we're going to do it, and we're going to run the West Coast offense and we're going this, we're going to, like, you got to have some experience in the coaching room. And I know that a lot of people didn't want the OC job, but that doesn't matter,
Yeah, I don't. My thing with the whole Vrabel thing is, like, I kind of thought he was a little bit overrated as a head coach. I thought he was a good culture guy.
Yeah.
Look what that Tennessee offense turned into by the time he was done there.
Right.
Like, this Tennessee team is not in a good spot. A lot of that's also the GM. Vrabel, I didn't think did a lot to elevate. So, I think it's, to me, I had no issue with the Mayo thing. I do think, hypothetical world, it becomes very clear by the end of this year that this coaching staff and this GM, not the guy. I would prefer clean house entirely, external people, no ties to, don't keep hiring Patriots guys. Get something entirely new, fresh from outside, and go from there. And honestly, I don't really care that much about the head coaching experience part of it. See guys who are young become good head coaches all the time. I think it's just a judgment call. You have to guess that this guy's going to be good. Sometimes those guys used to be head coaches. Sometimes they didn't. Sometimes it's the first time. It's always going to be a risk. So,
yeah. So we'll see. Lots of work to do. And I think Tyler Hughes is another guy that's on the chopping block because, not only have we seen nothing from the receivers, to me, they've regressed, right? Jalen Polk looked like the best receiver in the room, right, during training camp, and now he can't run a route or catch a pass, right? And so, and not only can he not run a route or catch a pass, but he's talking on social media, and just seems like an altogether guy that, I don't know, I don't know, I don't love that, and so you kind of have to wonder, like, are these guys regressing? Are you not getting enough out of Tyler Hughes as your wide receiver coach, or Taekwon Underwood, of course, the assistant there, and do you have to make a change there? Right. Not sure, but that's, I think, to me, at least a fair question. So we'll see.
The other part,
a lot of things to shake out till the end of the year.
we've had a lot of change with the personnel, with the position coaches on this team for a while now, and I'm not opposed to keep changing it, keep shuffling the deck until you get it right. But there is a part of me, we keep talking about them shuffling the offensive line,
Right.
and how that's tough.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you just got to say, hey, we liked these coaches when we hired them. It's not great right now, but let's give them another year and see if year 2 looks better. Hughes is a weird hire to me because he was the guy who was in the building before, and then you're bringing him back.
Right.
He only left for a year, I think.
Yeah, he was gone for a year or two. Yep. And obviously worked with Polk. He thought very highly of Polk, right? And I know multiple people, including TD, say that he was the 3rd best receiver on their roster. Kind of seems like his position coach last year didn't agree. But what would his position coach know? I'm sure TD knows better than the guy that coached him last year at college. So, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So,
do we want to do hit our first ad break and then come back talk about this game this week?
Yeah, I like that. Let's do that and go from there. So, all right, this, of course, ad is about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. As I said, you can win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4. That's right, 4 correct picks. And they put their members first. And so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quickly as 5 minutes. And they're now offering Venmo for deposits and withdrawals, which is a really, really nice thing. So my lineup this week, I'm going with a Thursday night game. So if you listen to this on Friday, it's already passed, but that's okay. Thursday night, I'm going with Derrick Henry for more than 0.5 rushing or receiving touchdowns. I'm additionally going with Hunter Henry for more than 42.5 receiving yards and scary Terry McLaurin for more than 58.5 receiving yards. So if you're listening to this after Thursday, well, I guess the Thursday game's already started, so you probably can't do the Derrick Henry one, but you can still play the Hunter Henry and Terry McLaurin one as well if you want to get in on the action with me. What you're going to do is you're going to download the app Prize Picks today. You're going to put the promo code CLNS, and when you play a $5 lineup, you're going to get $50 instantly. Okay, again, download the app Prize Picks. Put in the promo code CLNS, and when you play your first $5 lineup, you're going to get $50. You're going to get $50 instantly. You do not have to win your first lineup. You just have to play it. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right. So there we go. All right. Now listen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as bad as things have been for the Patriots, and things have been bad for the Patriots, right? We don't know if the coaching staff is the right coaching staff. We're just not sure if he's the right guy. I get it. Totally understand. It could be worse. And how could it be worse? It could be worse if you were the Chicago Bears. The last 3 quarterbacks the Chicago Bears have drafted in the top 10. That's right. 3 quarterbacks they've drafted in the top 10 have all been drafted, and I would imagine this is going to happen. I'm lumping Caleb Williams in with the other 2 because it just seems like that's going to be the case. Have all been drafted in the final year of the current head coach's tenure. So you draft a quarterback in the top 10, right? You then fire your coach the next year. 2 of those guys, one of those guys was taken at 3 overall, and now one of those guys is taken at 1 overall, and Justin Fields was taken at 10 overall. It is completely insane, complete insanity that you would look at what happened with Matt Nagy and think, nope, we're doing the right thing by keeping Matt Eberflus for another year. You knew he wasn't the guy. You knew it. every sign pointed he wasn't the guy. You had the number one pick. You loaded up on players, and you kept the coach. And now your team is a flaming hot disaster, and you almost have no choice but to fire your head coach. And your brand new number one overall pick, surefire superstar quarterback, looks like garbage all of a sudden because the coaching staff around him is terrible and is taking out the legs and has lost the locker room. It is a complete disaster over there.
Well, not just, I think I can understand why someone would buy into, giving Matt Eberflus another chance here. I don't know why you do it in this circumstance.
Right.
This is you're at a reset point with your organization when you have the number one pick and you're taking a new quarterback. And if there's any doubt about the coach you have, don't keep him. This is an inflection point. Go out and get someone. If there's doubt, then you're setting yourself up for, if that doubt's realized year one, well, you just drafted a quarterback and now you're switching out the coach already. That's what you have knowingly walked into that situation, which the Bears have done, 3 times in a row now with the quarterbacks that they've drafted high? At least twice in a row now.
It's 3 times with their last 3 head coaches. John Fox, which the last year of his deal with Mitch Trubisky, Matt Nagy, the last year of his tenure with Justin Fields, and now Matt Eberflus with Caleb Williams. It's insane.
You want to come back to New England here. I think this is one of the reasons the team was 100% correct to move on from Bill Belichick.
Yes.
Love Bill. Greatest coach to ever do it. There was legitimate doubt after what we've seen in the last 4 years if he still had it. He's also old. You're drafting a quarterback high. That's the point where you move on. That's the natural breaking point. Patriots might not have made the correct move with who they hired out of that, which we are still figuring out.
Right.
They built an entire organization starting from a natural starting point so that everything could come together. And you're not putting yourself in a spot where, if it doesn't work, we are trying to switch things midstream in a whole bunch of different places at the same time. I don't get what the Bears are doing. There's a reason this organization has struggled. Also add on, I don't think Keenan Allen has been as good as they thought he was going to be. Rome Odunze, I think, has been banged up.
Yeah.
DJ Moore, maybe he's checking out.
That's a bad look, man.
There was a play last week, for those who aren't aware, where it looked like he just kind of ran off the field in the middle of the play and went and sat on the bench. People have said that it was because he rolled his ankle on the play and took himself out for that reason. I don't know how much I believe that. I think we will see over the coming weeks if there's any validity to that or if he's just kind of checking out. The offensive line is awful. They just can't block anyone, and now it's a little banged up too. So the defense is fine, and that's Matt Eberflus's thing. They're 5th in points allowed, I think, this year, and especially against the pass, still pretty good defense. But the rest of this does not look like it's working. It's also their offensive coordinator. The name is escaping me. They hired the guy from.
Oh, it's Shane Waldron
from Seattle, correct?
Yep.
Do you remember the reaction from one? I believe it was Jackson Smith and Jigba.
It was JSN, yeah.
Yeah, when he got hired by the Bears, Smith and Jigba was asked about what can Bears fans expect out of their new offensive coordinator, and it was the longest pause. And it's basically good luck, guys.
Yeah,
which is not a ringing endorsement.
It's unbelievable. I mean, that's so that's what they've done, right? And again, you're in this situation with the Bears where we looked at it and said it's the best situation that a number one quarterback has ever been in, right? You're drafting a wide receiver in the top 10. You have Keenan Allen. You already had Cole Kmet. You drafted a right tackle last year in the first round. You feel like the offensive line's pretty good. The defense is pretty solid, right? But it's that wasn't the case, right? And it wasn't the case because, I just it wasn't the case, unfortunately. The offensive line's been bad. I think what it comes back down to is the head coach and the offensive coaches. it's tough, you know. So yeah, I mean, again, and that doesn't mean, by the way, it doesn't mean the Patriots are going to beat the Bears this weekend. I think the Bears are a better team than the Patriots are, right? And so I certainly think that, you know, you could look at it and say the Bears are going to win this game, but I still think long term that the Patriots are in a better position than the Bears are, right? And again, I'm not sure, but that's how I feel about it, at least. And maybe they'll both fail. I don't know. I just don't love the idea. Look, Trevor Lawrence, same thing. Now, Trevor Lawrence, a little different situation because Urban Meyer was hired right before they drafted Trevor Lawrence. So, okay, fine. But that was a disaster, obviously, right? As everyone knows. And then it's one of those issues where you had to then go out and say, well, we got to try to fix it now. And they just haven't been able to. And so, you know, I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. So, but to me, if I'm a Bears fan, I'd be very worried. Say it again.
Can you
What do you
hear
say?
me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff. Now my microphone dropped. So
Oh my God, dude. What a mess,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, it's I don't know what's going on over here.
So, well, you know, what are you gonna do? So, and listen, we're not talking draft yet. I know people are throwing out ideas on the drafts. We're not talking draft yet. We got a long time to talk the draft. Once December rolls around, we can start talking draft. But right now, we'll focus on the games at hand and kind of see what happens from there. So,
yeah. For this week, a couple notes on this Bears defense because I think it's relevant for Drake Maye. They are one of the top 5 in how much cover 3 defense they play.
Yeah.
So think that old Legion of Boom, Seahawks type defense. They're good at it. They are. They play the most middle of the field closed defense in the NFL, which means for those who don't know, the two terms that are typically used: middle of field closed, middle of field open. Middle of field closed means that there is one safety in the middle of the field deep. Middle of field open means there are 2 safeties that are split. So the middle of the field in between them is open. Offenses kind of use those 2 indicators a lot of the times, especially for receivers who are running option routes.
Right.
Bears are going to play single high a ton. They're going to cover 3 a ton. That's what you're going to see, and they're good at it. So it'll be a good test, I think, for Maye to play that type of defense. And you know, the type of offense we've seen them call, this West Coast offense, was kind of built to stop a lot of that, to go against some of these cover 3 defenses. So good test all around. You know, it's a good defense. You're on the road. I don't think the Patriots are going to win this game. I think that'll be tough. But I think, again, you want to see it be competitive. You want to see it to be close. I think you really want to see improvement. I want more from the wide receivers today or this week.
Yep.
And I want more from the offensive line than we got last week. You just got to be better.
100%. And I think that you know, this is what you're looking for and we've talked about it all year long. What you're looking for is growth. You just want to see growth from the young guys. Mm-hmm. And that means the wide receivers, that means the offensive line, that means everyone, right? And that's what you want to see. And whether that will happen or not, I don't know. But that's what you're looking for. And so, you know, and old man mentions, you know, Caleb running the ball too. Caleb's not really runs the ball, doesn't really run the ball as much as other guys. But, you know, yeah, that's certainly an issue that the Patriots have had. So we'll see. We'll see what they decide to do. But, you know, from a Patriots perspective, it's going to be interesting at least.
Yeah. I will say on the receivers, watching the last game, I know we talked on the post-game show about being disappointed with the performance of the receivers. Mm-hmm. I didn't think it was as bad as I expected it to be when I watched the tape. One, there were plays where guys were open. It just seemed like all the plays where you could have gotten a big play out of it, there was pressure. That's more an offensive line thing than a receivers thing there.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other part of it was the Titans who were really selling out to stop the pass. And that's why Drake May had so much room to run. I mean, they were running downfield with guys. They played very aggressive match zone type stuff. They were passing off routes very aggressively. They were on top of everything. There was just not a lot of room to throw based kind of on just the scheme the Titans had. And the consequence of that, they're selling out so hard to defend the pass. They had so much room to run the ball.
Tons of it.
So,
Yeah.
if you try, that's the thing, you try to defend New England that way, he's going to be able to feast on you. And if you look to the future, you get a legitimate number one receiver in this offense. They're always going to have to play you that way, which means you can still pass in those situations because you have a guy that's still going to get open, but also make him just take off and run. And you can get big gains on the ground and make an offense out of it. I think that's a really good sign for as they improve the receiving core and improve the offensive line.
Yeah. Well, I also think too, when you start to look at it and you wonder if that's the case, right? If they are selling out to stop the pass, it's pretty embarrassing that Ramondre had 10 carries for 16 yards rushing, right? That's just, you just can't have that, right? And so, yeah, it should be very concerning. If I'm a Patriots fan and I'm looking at that saying, they sold out, let's try that again. They did sell out to stop the run, not stop the pass, I should say, but they were still able to stop the run. And that's concerning, especially in an offense that allegedly is really good at running the ball, and has been good at running the ball, right? So, not great.
Yeah, and that right there is how you get into the Onwenu at left guard, Layden Robinson at right guard thing. Because Michael Jordan for them has been their second best pass blocking guard and one of their worst run blockers overall. Last 2 weeks he regressed as a pass blocker, so that's one way that you end up here.
Yeah, fair. It's fair. So, all right, you want to go to our second ad break and then we'll kind of finish off here?
Yep. Is this where we get in our hour of uniform talk?
Afterwards, yes, we will talk about the uniforms. I promise.
All right, let me talk to you guys about game time. So we all know basketball season is here. Tough loss for the Celtics against the Warriors. But you can be there for the next game with Game Time. And a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks. It makes getting tickets to see your favorite team, Boston Celtics, hopefully, play even easier. It filters out the fluff for you so you can just see incredible deals on great seats. You open it up, you see the map. It's going to highlight the best deals for you in each section. Makes it super easy. Plus, you click on it, it's going to show you your view from your seat. It's got all-in pricing. So the price you're seeing is the price you're going to pay. You're not going to have all of these fees tacked on at the end. You know what you're going to do up front. And yeah, they got the lowest price guarantee too. So makes everything easier. I've used it. I've had a great experience with it. I can't recommend it enough. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time.
Love it. There you go. Look at that. All right, let's do it. The Patriots are playing on Sunday once again with their white jerseys and silver pants, which I thought was going to look terrible, and actually looked pretty good when they did it over in London, correct?
Yeah.
So I was happy about that. I thought it looked pretty good, better than I thought it was going to look. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. They're doing it again this weekend. And Taylor Kyle said it. You said it under Taylor Kyle's thing. It seems like a change is coming.
Yeah.
What that change is going to be, I don't know. I don't know. I just, man, it just these uniforms are just so uninspiring. I think the white is a clean look. I really do. The dark navy, it's just so boring. And the fact that they can't match any stripes anywhere, it just drives me crazy.
See, the stripes all do match. They're all red on the outside, and then either white or blue on the inside, depending on what they're on.
I guess. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. I just feel like it's not as good as it used to be. You know, the what's it called? The logo is going to stay the logo. That's fine. But you know, I wonder what the uniform would look like, and the way the NFL is going with uniforms, I'm sure it's going to suck just as much as it does now. But like, I don't love the super dark blue. You don't have that color anywhere, and that's just in your color. Like, 'cause that's not your color scheme. That's not the color. I don't think.
What do you mean?
I mean, the blue in the Patriot isn't that color. It's
Navy
darker
blue?
than it's darker even than the McGinnis one that I have over my shoulder is darker than that.
No, the Patriots use the exact same blue now that they used in the Dynasty era.
No.
The blue hasn't changed one bit. The last time
Really?
the fabric color changed was in 2012 when Nike came in, and that's really only switching from the matte or from the shiny fabric that Reebok used to use.
It looks
matte
different.
fabric.
It looks different. Maybe it's just because they wear the dark pants with it.
I
But
think-
as my
well, the
dad just
fact-
texted me,
the
they
fact
got to
that
go
it-
back. They wear the silver pants with home. You don't wear the blueberry. I don't want to see any more of the friggin' blueberry. Just wear the dark over the silver. I don't know what the problem is.
I think the reason you think it looks darker here, by the way, is because it's matte fabric and not shiny. So when it's shiny, when
Yeah.
there's like the folds
That makes
of the
sense.
jersey, it's going to be lighter, and you just don't get that now.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but I don't mind the current. I do. When it comes to just like picking a week to wear these uniforms, I think this is perfect because the Bears are a navy blue team, so
Right.
it breaks it up a little bit to have silver, white, silver versus
It does.
blue, white, and orange.
Yeah.
But yeah, I we'll see what happens. Someone who works in the pro shop had mentioned to me they thought new uniforms were coming next year or the year after. It bothers me that they waited until this year to start getting funky with the uniforms. If they had started playing around with the uniform combinations in 2020, I think we all would have been fine with them.
I
The
agree.
better they insisted on the monochrome blue for the entirety of the first 2 years with the set.
Yeah.
And we didn't get
Matt, Bill Belichick was the coach. He didn't like messing with the uniforms, so he didn't. Like, I mean,
Oh,
that's
I don't think he cares. I honestly think it's all craft stuff because they messed
Maybe.
with them early. They messed with. You know what? I just realized it's the same timeline because when they brought in the new, they were then Adidas uniforms in 2000.
Yep.
They wore the same combos the entire time. 2000 and 2001, the first 2 years of the set. 2002, when they started messing around with it and started doing the all blue. The third year of the set is when they started the alternate, and then they immediately lost both games at home, and we never saw that again. But that was Packers and Broncos, I think.
Did those ugly silver jerseys for a bit.
But that's what happened with the new set is they had the thing come in, and for the first 2 years it was just that, and year 3 is when they added the silver pants.
Yeah.
And started giving combos. So I wonder if that's a craft thing of, hey, we're gonna establish a brand, we're gonna have this set for 2 years, and then once it's established, we'll start playing around with it and giving all
I guess.
don't know. I just hope they don't become one of those teams that's like, we're gonna have 3 helmets and 4 jerseys and 4 pairs of pants, and every
Yeah,
single
it's
week it's gonna
unnecessary.
be something new. Like you can have 1 or 2 combos to wear at home, 1 or 2 on the road, and your red throwback, and I'm good.
Right. Agreed. So, by the way, Nelson Aguilar just got a touchdown pass because, of course, he did. Great play design. This is where Lamar is so much fun, and not that I want to do Drake May. I want Drake May to do this stuff, but like they run what looked like, they ran like a fake jet sweep to the left, and they looked like Lamar was going to run a power to the right, and everyone sucked up, and Nelson Aguilar was just by himself in the end zone. Because of course he was, because of course you're thinking he's running from the 7-yard line, and he wasn't. So, it's a good play design. But this is the type of stuff for me that's like, this is the type of crap the Patriots should be doing. have fun, do something different. And I don't think they're doing anything different.
Well, it's also a lot easier to design plays like that when you have a guy who might go back-to-back MVP here at quarterback, one of the best running backs in the league, and a good offensive line. I do think, I think offensive coordinators very much get credit or blame based on the talent of the offense. A lot of the stuff, it's a lot easier to design plays that work when your players can execute anything that you do.
That's certainly fair. That is certainly fair. So
the Patriots tried that. I'm sure they would get sacked.
Yeah, probably not right. Probably not wrong. So all right. Anyway, so picks wise, what do you got for picks wise? I know. So my prize picks, I'll go over it with you people again, just so that just so you can hear my picks. Of course, I did read them in during the ad read, but I do have Derrick Henry tonight for more than 0.5 rushing or receiving TDs. I also have Hunter Henry for more than 42.5 receiving yards. And I also have Terry McLaurin for more than 58.5 receiving yards. So I should have actually asked you if you wanted to do prize picks or game picks first. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we're already into this.
Okay.
I've got Russell Wilson on Sunday for more than 217.5 passing yards.
Love it.
Against the Washington defense. I'm also going to take Drake Maye for more than 196.5 passing yards.
Woo woo.
Yeah. Pair quarterback passing yards ones there.
I love it. I'm a fan of that. I am a fan of that.
We do our game picks here and then get out of here.
Yep, game picks, and then we'll get the heck out of here.
Here's the week 9 slate. Rough week for you, Pat. Rough week for you.
Yeah, not good. Not good.
No. Packers 2-3. I go 4-1. We both got Colts at Vikings. Vikings taking that one, and the Chiefs over the Bucks. Neither one of us got the Jets over the Texans, and then I got the Chargers over the Browns and the Cardinals over the Bears. You had neither of those.
Yeah, I really thought that the Browns. I was picking with my heart with Jameis, and he just got absolutely lit up. And the Bears, I thought the Bears were a pretty good team. Turns out the Cardinals are a little feisty. They're a pretty good team. So, anyways,
all right. This week you can see the records change at the top there.
No, baby.
Jumped ahead of you by one game there. 13, 15, 29, and 16. We're going to start with the game that's going on right now. Bengals at Ravens in the Thursday night slot. How would you take?
So I did the exact same thing that I'm doing this week is what I did last week. I'm picking the better team and ignoring the team that is just totally desperate. Now, the Jets season was over. If they had lost last Thursday, their season was over. They came out hungrier than the Texans and won that game. For me, right, the Bengals season could be over if they lose this game. Maybe not necessarily, but if you're 4-6, that's tough to come back from, especially in a good division. But the Ravens are so good, man. The Ravens are so good. And so I'm going with the Ravens because they're just so talented. And you kind of see, what they've done and the fact that they can do it offensively. Defensively, they have a good defense. They have the best running back in the league probably, and one of the best quarterbacks in the league too. It's hard not to pick them every time they play, especially at home.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to add. I'm also going with the Ravens. They're the better team. They're at home. It's tied right now. We'll see if this pick comes true, but I still feel pretty good about that one. Sunday, 1 o'clock. I think I may have dipped my hand here with one of my prize picks. Steelers at Commanders. This is a very interesting game, I think.
Yep.
Russell Wilson versus Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, my heart says Washington because Daniels has been so damn good. The Steelers are just I can't explain the Steelers. They've just been great this year, and they're letting Russ cook, and he's cooking. He's cooking, dude. And so I'm going Steelers here on the road.
That is a bold pick. And one that I'm also going to make. I like the Steelers defense against this Commanders offense.
Yeah.
That I think to me is what will end up being kind of that's the strength on strength matchup here. I want to see what happens here, and I do think the Steelers end up coming out on top. I think they're just too experienced, too well coached against a rookie quarterback. This feels like the type of game where Jake Daniels really gets tripped up for the first time.
Yeah, certainly possible.
Yeah. Sunday late afternoon slot, Jets at Cardinals. You picked against the Cardinals in this slot last week. You're going to do it again?
Sure I am. I just never learn. I never learn. This is why I'm terrible at gambling. I never learn anything. I don't follow trends that I should follow. I follow trends I shouldn't follow. I'm a complete disaster. But again, I'm looking at the Jets and I'm saying that they are once again on the verge of a complete meltdown, right? This is it. You lose this game and kind of moving forward now, you lose one or two more games and your season's over, right? And so I think that for the Jets, they have to win this one. They have a few tough games coming up too. This is one of those games that you just feel like you have to win. I know the Cardinals played well last week, and I think the Cardinals are a pretty good team. I just think the Jets are coming in supremely motivated, and they get this win against the Cardinals.
I'm still taking the Cardinals. I just think they're the better team.
Yeah.
I think it's that simple. Yeah, that's all there is to that on that one for me. I wouldn't be totally shocked to see the Jets win this one, but I do think the Cardinals are better.
Yeah, fair.
Yep. Lions and Texans Sunday night
Lions and
football.
Texans.
Texans are breaking out their all red alternate uniforms for this. We'll get to see those for the first time.
You know what? I think right now, the way it stands, I'm not going to pick against the Lions in any game. I'm just not going to do it the rest of the year. Unless they prove to me that they can't win big games, they have been dominating teams, not just winning, dominating. And we saw it last week with the Texans. Now they're coming off a mini bye. They played Thursday night against the Jets, but you lose to the Jets. And now again, they have a lot to prove this week too. But I think that they still have that division. Not that the division's on lock, but they still have a comfortable lead in that division. To me, the Lions are just a wagon. And I think they win this game.
You might be right. I'm taking the home team here. I think the Texans are like I have my issues with the Texans, but I think they bounce back from that loss last week and do some good. Now, the injuries with the Texans are tough, and the Lions do look like a buzzsaw at this point. So this might look real ugly for me in a couple days' time, but I do think the Texans end up pulling this off at home. I think it'll be a good game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Monday Night Football, Dolphins and Rams.
Yeah.
This is the Monday Night Football game? How did this end up at the Monday Night Football game?
Especially when you can flex games out. I guess, Tua's back. The Dolphins are a competent football team with Tua. They are not a competent football team without him. They are a competent football team with Tua. So I can see that. I'm going Dolphins here. I just think they haven't put everything together since Tua came back. They've slowly been building there. And I think that that this is the one that it kind of comes together and they win this game.
I'm not sure I agree. I do think the Rams take this down. I also just realized doing this that our ticker has been wrong the whole episode and just had last week's schedule on it instead of this week's.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We have the Patriots game, right?
Do we?
We do.
On the ticker?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I mean in the schedule section right here. It's 2 weeks old somehow. I don't know how that happened. I was rushing to do that before the show. All kinds of technical errors there. So you can ignore the schedule at the bottom of the screen. But yeah, I think the Rams are starting to get a little bit healthier here. And this is a game between two teams that are flawed, banged up, similar identities. So I think that's very interesting. I think we'll learn a lot about where these teams stand. Then the Pats play the Rams the week after this. So, you're a Pats fan, tune in and see what we're going to have coming to Gillette Stadium the week after.
Yeah, it's going to be that'll be a fun game. So we'll see. The Rams are a good team, I think. And so I certainly I certainly wouldn't be surprised if they win this game, but I just think the Dolphins, they're eventually going to put it together. That's my opinion, at least. We'll see.
Yeah, we will. That. I mean, they were competitive last week, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are our picks.
All right. One quick question that maybe we can talk about for a second. TD, I'm a little hurt that you don't think that I'm ready to talk college football. Travis Hunter, is he a wide receiver in the NFL or a corner in the NFL? What do you think?
I don't know yet. I have only watched some of his receiver tape. I have not watched any of his corner tape yet.
Okay.
I'll say his receiver tape. You see the athleticism. You see the traits. I don't know if you see the technique. And I am hesitant about picking a wide receiver based on athleticism alone because it is such a technique-heavy position.
Yeah.
That said, he does things no one else can do, and he has amazing hands. So, like, maybe he's worth the risk. I think if you draft him, you play him both ways at first, at least. Rookie year, I'd have an offensive package for him, a defensive package for him, let him play both, see where he ends up fitting best, and then maybe make a decision after that.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, man. What I worry about is that you're going to burn him out after a year. Like you can play both ways in college. Like that's fine. And they're within the Big 12. Like you can play both ways in the Big 12. You could do that. But like, I don't know, you can play both ways in the NFL. You're gonna play 120 snaps. I mean, that's insanity.
I don't think he's going to do that, but I think he can play 60 snaps, 30 offense, 30 defense. I think that's where I would start him. Put him in your 2-minute package on offense. Put him in your 3rd and long package on offense. Put him in for some shot plays and some first down stuff on offense. And then defensively, maybe just your 3rd down stuff. Your passing situations and stuff where basically anything where the game was competitive, any kind of big plays either side, you want him on the field type of thing.
Yeah.
And then just, see what he takes to, see where he excels. I do think corner is probably the natural fallback for him because I think
he's a better corner than wide receiver, but that's just me.
I think he's from what I've seen just watching games, he is more technically sound as a corner, and like you can use those hands as a corner. He'll have the best hands of any DB in the NFL, and he'll probably, I don't know if he'll lead the league in picks because people might not throw at him, but he'll get his fair share of picks, and that'll be a big impact for you.
Yeah.
The other thing here is this. I think he's a rare talent. I think in theory, he could play 100 or 80 snaps a game in the NFL, 40 each way, or 60, doesn't come off the field on defense and has packages on offense. I think he can do that. It's just, is that worth a top 5 pick? Like the way he's valued, it's going to be so hard to figure out.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because what he might be is a great cornerback prospect and a good wide receiver prospect. And I don't know if either one of those is worth the top 5.
Right.
So if you're only going to have him play one way in the NFL, probably not a top 5 pick, but he's also such a rare talent that you might just take him and say, we'll figure it out later.
It's interesting. It's an interesting question, and I really don't know. I do have concerns, right? Drafting him in the top 5. I'm in agreement with you on that. Again, I think he should win the Heisman because he's been, to be that good on both sides of the football is incredible. And something that nobody else has ever done before in the history of college football. But, again, does that mean he's a top 5 pick? I don't know. So that's the question. And we'll see. We'll get into T. Higgins at some point. I think it is interesting he's not playing again tonight, but he's hurt. I mean, like if he's hurt, he's hurt. What are you going to do? I have questions about whether we'd actually, pay that much money for a wide receiver that may or may not be a number 1 guy, but I don't know. Maybe they're that desperate. I'm not sure. So, And Dion, by the way, TD, Dion did play both ways, but not to the extent that Travis Hunter's doing. Travis Hunter's playing 120 snaps a game. Like no one's ever done anything like that. Dion played both ways and played special teams and did all that stuff, but not to the extent that that he's doing it. It's unheard of.
Well, I think the other thing here with Travis Hunter is that But to the extent that he is doing this, that is part of his rare athleticism. The fact that he can play that many plays in a game at a high
Right.
level.
Yeah.
So I think in some ways, if you're asking him to just play one position at least year one, I think you're selling yourself short.
Yeah, you're losing
because
some of that.
his body can handle this.
Right.
His body can handle that for a 10-year NFL career. I highly doubt that.
Right.
But I do think what you would probably see is you have him start playing both ways, see where he's better, see how he handles things, and maybe he becomes a 60 snaps one way, 20 snaps the other type of player. Maybe he's a 40-40 guy. Maybe
Right.
he's just offense or just defense by year 3 because he's just that much better at one of them, and you want him to specialize. And there's a chance he's a bust. He just can't do either, and well, there goes your pick.
It is interesting because you almost wonder, like, sometimes to play both ways like that, it's almost just because of your athleticism. I feel like sometimes it's just like you're that much more talented than everyone else.
Mhm.
And so because you're that much more talented than everyone else, like, you just dominate them. And like that just doesn't happen in the pros usually, right? You're just not able to dominate people like that in the pros. And so, like, I don't know. I wonder if he could, not be as good in the pros as he is in college. But again, I have no idea.
And maybe, yeah, athleticism translates, and he just can do that.
And that's certainly possible, right? Imagine he comes out and he's like incredible in both ways, and you're just like, holy crap, this guy's like the most unbelievable athlete ever, because he certainly could be, right? And maybe that's kind of the idea. So we'll see. But anyways, all right, let's get the heck out of here. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We appreciate it. I will be at the game on Sunday, so I will not be here after the game breaking down the game on Sunday. But Matt will be here with a friend. What friend? I don't know. Or potentially by yourself. I don't know.
I don't know yet either. Yeah, it's chaotic week here. So
yes,
I have not figured out
that is true.
For Sunday.
That is true.
Hopefully my computer works.
Yeah, right. So Matt potentially will be here after. Hopefully, if not, maybe I'll just do a live stream from Chicago, walking down the street or something like that.
Yeah, you guys might get an hour of me doing tech support over here. I don't know.
So, but anyway, so it's gonna be fun this weekend. Actually, I don't even think I mentioned this on the show, but we're actually going to Florida, Notre Dame, Florida State on Saturday. So I know I told you this, Matt, but we're flying in on Saturday, immediately driving to South Bend to go see the Notre Dame Fighting Irish play against the Florida State Seminoles on Saturday night football, 7:30. We're going to get there super early, try to, walk around, tailgate, meet up with as many people as we can, just like go from tailgate to tailgate, try to hang out with a bunch of people, and then go to that game. Then we're driving back to Chicago that night, and then getting up for the noon start on Sunday for the game at Soldier Field. So it's going to be a heck of a weekend. I'm very excited about it. And it's going to be long. It's going to be long. But we'll see what happens. So anyways, all right. Well, thank you. And thanks everyone. And we'll talk to you guys. Well, Matt will talk to you guys, hopefully, if his computer doesn't blow up on Sunday. And then we'll be back next week talking about the next home game against the Rams. So thanks guys. Appreciate it. And take care of yourselves.